I think saved them bees.
Yeah, because when I opened up my hives this summer, or this spring, it was amazing. I had dead bees in the bottom that thick.
Yeah.
And it was so, now if you let them go, they'll clean that out themselves. But for me, it was like, well, why make them work? I'll just clean it out and get rid of it.
Okay, so you said you should at least have more than one beehive when we start? Is that kind of what you're suggesting?
It depends on where you want to go with it. If you just want something as a little hobby.
Yeah, just like a honey, so you can eat it and give it to your neighbors like Maxine.
Yeah, you just one hive and just take care of it and learn about your bees. Other beekeepers have said, you know, have two hives, that way you can kind of see a strong hive and a weak hive, and if one gets strong and one gets weak, you can kind of cross level. Now all that takes a little bit more expertise and a little bit more understanding how the bees work, but you can do those things.
And can you give us suggestions on where to place the beehive once we get there?
The recommendation is a sunny place where you get sun at least about 50% of the day. I got mine are a little bit shaded more, and I've had pretty good luck with them where I got them. I got it kind of out of the way. My top bar hive I have right next to my house on the side that nobody uses a lot. It gets sun most of the day. So you should try and find it a place that's out of the way, that you're not going to have a lot of traffic by it. You know, I've used the weed whacker in front of mine. I've used the lawnmower by mine. They don't seem to bother. You know, I try to get in there, get the weeds cleaned down, and get it, you know, manicured up, and then get out. So I don't have keep your time short, so you give them less time to come at you. But I really haven't had any issues with the bees. The other day I got stung, and for some reason they were a little bit more agitated than normal. And I think it was the weather changes that's been causing it. And so I was out just standing there, and it might have been the fact that when she came after me, I overreacted instead of just backing away from her.
Isn't that when you put up right after you look the lemongrass?
Yeah, and that's another way you can get bees, is you could put up a swarm trap. I'm going to try and use this as a swarm trap, that's why I got it set up. You can, if you get essential oils, there's a bunch of different essential oils that they found that do different things for the bees. Lemongrass is one that the bees really are attracted to. So they recommend you take a little cotton ball of lemongrass, put it in a plastic bag, and put it in one of these. You put it someplace where the bees could find it. Another thing, I found these, and you can buy them too, they're in the catalog. It's the paper pots that you put plants in.
No. It's what you winter over roses with.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And you have a lid on it, and you have one single hole, and you put that and you hang it in a tree someplace, about 10 or 12 feet off the ground, and the bees will be attracted to that it's about the right size that they're looking for to start a hive. And then you just come back and check it occasionally, and hopefully a wild swarm will go in there. There's good and bad points about catching wild swarms, because you don't know exactly what you're getting. But they are out there. That is another option. Normally when bees swarm, they're not very aggressive again, because they're trying to preserve themselves to start the new colony. Usually once the colony started, then they change over, become a little bit more aggressive. And again, that depends on the breed of bee. Some bees are more aggressive, like the Africanized bees are the most aggressive ones, but they're still maintaining those in the south.
Did you say the queen's the only one that bites?
No, the queen, her stinger doesn't doesn't get torn out when she stings. She doesn't have a barb on her stinger, and that's so she can go and kill her adversaries in the hive.
Okay.
So, but the other bees, now the drones, there again, the drones don't sting as much either. Yes.
So, we get our bees,
Okay.
we shake them into our box where the queen
Your
is,
hive, yep.
and then we're done?
Yep. You
And how
walk
often do we go and check our,
normally once you put them in there, you walk away for about 2 or 3 days. Then you want to go back and check to make sure the queen's been released.
Okay.
If the queen, if she hasn't been released in that time, then it might be a good idea to give her a hand. But normally, I found that the bees eat that candy pretty quick, and that my last package that I put a queen in, I went in the next day and she was out already.
So you never have to put sugar water in there, huh?
Oh no, I feed them right away.
Okay.
That's what I got. I use
Yeah.
front opening feeder, and basically this works off just vacuum. So you'll fill this with sugar water. There's some different bee food, and they'll prop this up on you, and just fill it with sugar water. Put the lid back on tight, turn it over, and then the vacuum holds it in. They go inside here, and they'll go in and they'll stick their little tongues up there and start drinking the sugar water.
where do we put that?
In a normal hive, your normal hive, you see this stick. This is an entrance reducer. And normally it's got a little hole that you close up for like in the winter time, or if you're trying to keep them in there, if you got other bees coming and robbing a weak hive, you might want to reduce the hive. That way the guard bees don't have as big an area to keep the other bees out. But this other one is normally big enough to stick this in and have a little space so they can get in and out.
Oh, so you stick it right out off the hive then?
Yeah, right in the front of the hive. It will.
You do the
They
same
can't
with
see
your
that.
top bar?
What's that?
You do the same way with your top bar?
No,
I was gonna say, you put your jars in there.
I put my jars
Yeah.
in. Now, I noticed with my top bar, my bees don't eat as much. And I don't know if it's because, see, I have an entrance on the end of my top bar. And I know some of them are professing to put entrances on the side. So I don't know if it's because they're going out this way and they're not going to the back of the hive to
Oh, I
look.
see. Because mine are sitting right here where they go out to the back.
Yeah,
So they are getting honey.
so they're,
And
yes,
they're draining it.
yeah.
For about the first 2 weeks, I'm filling them up once a week, but then after that, then they're on their own.
Yeah,
Then they're okay.
and they will, it'll be amazing, you'll see them, they'll just suck that sugar water right down. They say that it takes 10 pounds of honey to produce 1 pound of wax. So that initial buildup in your hive is going to take a lot of energy stores to get them to the point where they can reproduce. Because with a package of bees, one, you don't know how long the bees have been in there, and two, you're going to have a big mix of bees. You may have old bees that are getting ready to die, and you may have some younger bees, but the minute you put them in your hive, you know, they during the summertime when they're working, they only live about 4 to 6 weeks. Now during the winter months when they're not active, they're just staying alive. And that's the other thing. Bees don't actually hibernate. What they do is they just ball up, and they're wide awake and they're staying active, keeping that warm. They'll keep the center of a hive up to 90 degrees through the winter. And they'll just ball up and create a big ball right in the center around the queen and keep her and whatever brood that she's laid, and is to keep the hive viable until spring.
So what do you do in the winter? You said you put straw around them? Bales?
You put straw,
We did. We put bales of hay around them as high up as we could, and another length higher than as far as we could go with another, all the way around it. And that's what kept them from dying.
some people put tar paper, just use on a regular hive, we just wrap tar paper around, just to give it that little extra layer and have it create that black, so it'll draw the heat in from the sun, winter sun. Now, I didn't do either on either of my hives. Now the top bar, again, it's a different style hive, so I think that if I would have wrapped that possibly in some tar paper or put some bales around it, might have done better. But the other one, it was fine, and we had a pretty cold winter. But then I got it out of the wind. You know, if you can find a place where it's out of the wind, where it's not going to be in direct, so that, because as that wind goes around, it's drawing the heat out of the hive. So if you can keep as little wind away, as much wind away from the hive as you can, it'll work better. Where else are we going?
Oh, okay, so when they create the honey,
Yep.
that's the piece of wood that you have out there, or is that just the comb?
This is what they call honey supersize. And the reason they have smaller, and there actually is a little bit smaller one. I think it's about 5 inches. This is 6 3/4, I think, 6 inches. But they will, as you can see, this here weighs probably almost 2 pounds.
Okay, so is that the comb then? That's what
Yes.
they make?
This is the comb. Now, you see here, this is all capped honey. This honey is ready. This down here, you can look and you'll see liquid in there. It's not capped yet. Now the bees, what they'll do is they'll fill those combs out, and then they fan it to dry it, and they normally will dry it down to about 18% moisture, and then they'll put the cover on it, and that stores it. Honey never goes bad. Honey, if you have crystallized honey, it's not bad honey. It is just it's just changed form. And the reason it crystallizes, some honey will crystallize faster than others, is because the types of sugar. You have fructose and sucrose, I believe it is. And I might be a little confused here, but if you have more of one than the other, it'll cause it to crystallize faster.
Okay, so when you, oh, sorry, Maxine, what?
Go ahead.
How do you get it back to its natural form then?
Just, you can put it in a microwave if you're careful. Most people recommend using hot water, and you don't put
it in hot water.
Put it in a bottle. Now the plastic jars that that you buy in the store are very thermal sensitive, and they don't hold their form.
I put mine in mason jars as soon as I get them home.
Yeah.
I empty mine right into mason jars, Maxine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if it crystallizes, then I
I
can
got
put it
one at home
on.
now, and it's crystallized in a plastic, and I didn't throw it out.
You can scoop it out. Now, there's different forms of, if you go to a state fair, they get a pretty good, they'll have a bunch of observation hives. An observation hive is a hive with a bunch of frames in it that they'll put a queen in there, and then they'll have a tube going outside so you can actually watch the bees work. And then they'll have, where was I going with that?
You were just telling about how they cook it.
So, yeah.
But you can eat the comb.
Yeah, how do we, what do we do when we get that, pull
Now,
that
there's-
out?
Well, there's two things. The way I did it last year was I just took and crushed it all. And you crush and strain, and there again, you take it out of the frame there, and then you get this. This was a cheap set of strainers I got from Man Lake. It came with a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and then this different strains. So then you just crush it up, put it in these, and
Like this? You crush it like this?
usually just use a spoon. What I did, I had a big stainless steel bowl. I scraped it off in a stainless steel bowl, chopped it up real good, and then put it in a strainer and let it strain. And then I just moved the wax out of the way as I did. For the whole honey super, this size, I came out with about 1 pound of wax, and just about 3 gallons of honey, and
From just that?
there would have been 10 of these.
10.
Yeah, from 10 of these, and they were completely full. And it's really neat because you see here, this is what the brood comb looks like. It's dark and kind of ooky looking, and they build a little. There's a little secretion they put in there before they put the eggs in, and that just kind of builds up. Now that's one of the things that they believe is causing some of the bees to die is all the insecticides that the bees are exposed to. They get it on their legs and their feet, and then they come in here and they track it around on the comb, and then the comb absorbs it. And then it gets to a certain point where they say, you know, our larva is dying, it's you know, got a bad smell or got a bad taste, we're gonna leave. And then the bees all just leave the comb on it. So I'm gonna start, my thought process is, in my brood section, I'm gonna pull out a frame and just scrape the wax off and harvest the wax and let them build a new comb on the wax on occasion, instead of leaving it in there for them. Yeah, it's easier, they're more productive because they don't have to build the wax, but if you're losing them because the wax is contaminated, maybe you're better off to change the wax, the comb on occasion.
Do you register your hives at all?
I haven't. You can. That'll supposed to notify the farmers and that you have hives and that they're gonna. They should be careful when they spray. And I'm not in it for big production right now. I'm just trying to learn about it, and I don't want to make my farmer neighbors unhappy.
Because I believe I read somewhere, if you register your hives, they have to notify the spray company. They can only spray like before 8 a.m. and like after 6 p.m.
Yes.
Something like the prime time when the bees are gathering.
Yes, yes. So, so that's that. Now, we went to equipment. Bee brush is important. And it doesn't have to, this is a regular bee brush that came with the kit. I bought, when I started, I ordered, like I said, I ordered my bees, and then I said, well, I ordered bees, now I need a hive. So, you know, it was one of those things to give me a kick in the butt and say, let's get, you know, I got to do something because I got the bees coming, I got to have it someplace ready. So, I just ordered, went to Man Lake here, and I said they have kits where you can buy everything all together. And it came with 2 brood chambers and 2 honey supers, and then all the equipment, the smoker, the bee brush, and it came with this is another very important tool. There's a couple different forms of it, but the bees glue stuff together with propolis, and you'll need it to pry stuff apart. You'll go in here and these will be stuck down. Not real hard most of the time, but you'll need it to pry them out and get them loose. And once you get them loose, you can usually pull them out pretty easy. And then they'll build comb, like you see this is what they call burr comb. You want to go in there and get that burr comb off to keep your frames clean, and help them do some housekeeping. So this is a very important tool. This is a tool I bought. They sell this at. Basically, it's to help pull out your frames. Last few times I've been on my hive, I haven't had it on me, so I just use my hands. But it does seem to save the bees a little bit. Sometimes a little bit easier to grab.
Or you might have a massacre.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And with the top bar hive, I have had massacres where I pulled it out and the comb fell off because. Here, the comb's supported, so it's stiff. On a top bar hive, you just imagine you just have this part. You don't have none of this, and the comb's just hanging there, and that's what this is out of. This is out of the top bar, and it's pretty fragile. It's amazing how much honey it'll hold, but it can still be pretty fragile. And if you're inspecting during a hot summer day, and that's what I did, I did everything right. I pulled it out of the top bar, and I was looking at both sides, looking for the queen, and then I took it and I turned it up like this so it didn't go sideways, and I was like that. I was looking at it, and all of a sudden the honey was too heavy on one side, and it just kind of started falling over on me. I quick put it over top of the hive, and it fell down on top of a whole bunch of bees, and we just had a royal mess.
It's sad.
Yeah, all the bees.
So what all did you get in your kid?
So,
Because you said, I'm gonna raise bees.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He says, I'm gonna raise bees. And then he ordered the bees. They came in the box.
yeah.
And then he said, I'm gonna build a top bar. And he said, I'm gonna build a top bar. And he didn't, and he didn't. So we decided maybe since the bees are coming, we should get a full kit. So we got a full kit, which we got these parts. Now he builds his own. We got the suit and the hat and the gloves and the smoker and the tools and the brush. And what else did you get?
I
About
got
that
both.
sugar water thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get a sugar water thing?
No, I didn't. Not with
We
that
had to
kit.
buy that.
Yeah.
We bought that
Yeah, these-
not
Yeah,
Blaine's, but
Blaine's.
Tyson's.
Yeah, they're only
Yeah.
$6 a piece. I mean, and you can build your own. That's the nice thing. If you're a little bit of a woodworker, a lot of this stuff you can actually build on your own.
So then,
This-
yeah, he had everything.
Yeah.
What he came in the box.
This here I built for. It's called a solar wax melter. So if you're not in big production, you can melt them. You just take and put your wax in here, set out on a nice hot summer day. It melts the wax, drains down. I got a little plastic tub in here, and I had some wax that was just sitting around.
And what do you do with the wax, Chuck?
You can make lip balm. You can make candles.
I didn't bring a candle.
You can make some of the wax in your small production like this. Some of the wax you use back. Like when you have new frames like this, it's more productive if you put a nice coat of wax on, and that's what I did with my new hive. I took the wax I had, I melted it down, and put another layer of wax on, and causes them to build out a little bit quicker.
And if you've been to the state fair, there is actually a competition for the wax alone. Kids will compete just on the production of quality of the wax. So it's actually kind of interesting.
So you're going to get a darker wax with this than if you have virgin comb like this, and the light color of the wax will make a big difference. Is higher quality wax, and then you can collect the propolis. Some people collect propolis, and they put a little screen on top, and the bees will try and fill the things. You take it out, put it in the refrigerator, and then you break it off. There's some medical companies that buy that. The pollen is another thing that people try and harvest, and what they'll do is they'll put a little cage in front of the beehive, and the bees crawl through that cage, and as they crawl through, the little pollen sacs on their legs, this one's got some. The little pollen sac there will dislodge, and the pollen pebble will drop off, and then you go through and you pull it out, and you take it out and freeze it. And there's places that buy that. Of course, then you're talking about production, and you're really getting into it.
When that happens, wouldn't that be counterproductive? I mean, you want honey and you take the pollen?
Well, you're not taking everything from them. You're just taking a small portion. You're just taking part of it. So
They're just thinking about the bees,
Yeah.
poor little bees.
yeah, they worked hard.
I had a friend of ours that is helping us do this with our bees, and he stressed that one of the most important things to do is to make sure you get that beehive, whatever you're going to set it on, level.
Yes.
The leveler you get it, the better off you're going to be able to manage your bees in your, things when they're coming out,
Yeah, especially with the top bar.
especially with the top one.
Yeah, because they use the gravity to hold them straight. So, yeah,
And then we found out he lives on the river and he was having troubles with mice getting into his. So my brother did a study on the internet and he come up with a plan with, it's like big river rock, about this chunks of river rock that he puts all around his beehive, and we never have trouble with mice in ours at all. And that's another thing that now he's doing that with his.
Excuse me, Mr. Sharp, you're almost done, so let them know your telephone number that they can call you or they can come to your house.
okay.
Hey, let's, first of all, let's say thank you very much, because we don't want to put that on the internet. So thanks, guys, for that. I really appreciate that.
I hope it helps. I hope it gives you a little bit, like I said, I'm not a master beekeeper. I'm just getting started myself, but I thought this would be a little help to, if you're interested in getting started.